Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Money Monday, and we are here to open your mind. We are here on Money Monday, and Money Monday is brought to you by L&R Security, and they are looking for you. L&R Security keeps our family and friends safe, and to do that job, they are looking for you. L&R Security is now hiring armed and unarmed guards. All interested persons should contact L&R Security. You can go online right now at lnrsecurity.com. That's lrsecurity.com. All you need is to be the minimum requirements are 18 years of age, complete a work application, criminal background check, 2 forms of ID, whether it be driver's license, state ID, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Make sure you go contact L&R Security. You can go online right now at lrsecurity.com because that is the good life. We are here on Money Monday, and we always start Money Monday with why we vote and, opening your mind to living differently in the world and just making sure that we are civically engaged. But I cannot get past the events of this weekend. They have fallen very heavy on my heart. They have 4 children who are in a totally different situation right now. Will Smith's children and the suspect's child, those are 4 children, y'all. We need to open our mind to living differently in the world, and we need to watch how we react to things. We're going to get into, why we vote and things like that, and we're going to touch on that situation. But you know what? We're going to redefine the good life. The reason why I don't watch the news all the time is because I'm tired of hearing about the killing. And what your thoughts manifest things. If you don't believe it, what you think, that's where your energy goes. That's what grows. And so if we talk about all this negativity all day long, it's like, well, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to change that perspective? So I found all of these stories that redefine exactly what the good life is about. So I'm going to, shine a ray of hope on our Monday because, our hearts are heavy, the saints are heavy, and, our city is heavy. And we need to learn some different, conflict resolution skills because that is not the good life. But what is the good life right now is equal pay. Telly Medina, welcome to the good life.
Welcome to the Good Life. Good morning, WBOK in New Orleans. As I see...
and all over the world. We're international.
Speaker Pro Tem Walt Leger walked by. He is supporting Equal Pay today and every day in the legislature. But what I will say is condolences to the family members of the deceased and the individuals who have to deal with this situation in New Orleans. We know more is to come in information in regard to the case, but a man, more importantly, a black father, has been taken away from his 3 children and his community and his family. That's a big deal. And more importantly, for the gentleman who committed the act, to read in the paper that he was the sole provider for his 5-year-old, is also very tragic, without parallels and comparisons. So, as we pray for the city today and we feel, a level of frustration, some embarrassment, as your friends call you from around the country.
Literally, I had people calling me from Bahrain. Literally, like this is international news. New Orleans. Open your mind. At what point do we learn how to resolve our differences in a peaceful manner? We don't have to agree with people. I'm sure a lot of more information will come out because let's just say there are no coincidences, and I'm going to leave that piece right there. But let's just say you are in a car accident. Somebody taps your car, and they do drive away. Is the immediate response to go follow them and tap their car as well? We all have technology. We have these phones. I could take a picture of your license plate from across the street. Why is it necessary to, drive them down and to hit their car? Why is that necessary? So there obviously must be something else to it. It can't just be because if you just wanted the license plate, you could have gotten the license plate. I know. I was at French Quarter Festival like a lot of people, and I was videoing from 75 feet away, and I had great pictures. So if I can get great pictures from that far away, you definitely don't need to tap somebody's car to get a license plate.
I get that. And I guess the part of it is, as a young man growing up in a 7-1 New Orleans, and just as a young man in New Orleans, you will be tried. The streets of New Orleans or to try you. As my friend Jeffrey Carter told me the other day, he said, sometimes you got to take an L and walk away. So sometimes, even though it may hurt your pride, it isn't a loss if you are still alive and ought to be able to tell a story.
And your child has a father.
But it reminds me of the movie Harlem Nights, or the Chug, which was played by the incomparable, the greatest comedian of our time, Richard Pryor, talking to Eddie Murphy, and he said, being a gangster is not being a young man down on the street, but what it is that growing to be 80 and having your wife and your children and your grandchildren around. That's what the good life essentially is. And so if you look at it from that perspective, and even if you believe and have faith in God that situations get better, it isn't for you to be able to react that way regardless to what happened within the situation. We don't need, anybody dying, let alone more black men, and let alone what seems to be two men who are fathers to their children. And so it is somber, but it is a part of our process. The thing that we'll transition to is tomorrow is Equal Pay Day in the state of Louisiana.
Praise Jesus.
That's on our minds now.
And I mean that for real.
Mothers who are going to be concerned about taking care of children, specifically black boys. And in the state of Louisiana, where we incarcerate so many individuals, specifically black men, it is important that women don't just make 67 cents on the dollar, but are paid fair wage, which is Eileen Carter is consistently talking about, to do a job within this state. And so there will be a push for it. I am working on a equal pay bill, and in fact, I am working to pen an article that I hope to get out next week possibly in regards to equal pay and how it affects criminal justice and a variety of different issues within our state and in our city. So we have to be mindful of it.
And we're going to read excerpts
and
right
I think, women, we will be sending out just tons of, and let me backtrack. That isn't just a woman issue. That's
Thank you. It's a family issue.
We will, be taking steps in order to push for this legislation and hopefully be successful.
Because, I am a traditional, woman. So, our role is support the family, right? So let's just say your man has, a work-related accident. So you holding the family down, right? But you making 67 cents off the dollar. It's not coming in like it used to come in, right? So that now affects the entire family. And you have situations where obviously they're single mothers, and that's just, a double weight that she has. But y'all, this is a family issue. This isn't just a female issue. It's not just a woman's issue. This is a family issue. We are all part of a family. And, we're only as strong as our weakest link. And if we have people running around saying that we aren't, it's about respect. It's about dignity. I can't get paid what you get paid. We talked about the women's soccer team a week ago. That's just ridiculous, the amount of difference that is. Like, open your mind. Like, why is it such a hard thing to think that everybody should be paid the same? And Telly, I know you tell me it comes down to, economics.
The soccer team analogy. In that instance, the cost, better yet, the women, or as far as advertisement is concerned, and ticket sales, are earning just as much or more than men. Now, you could say, for example, in the NBA, a woman, there are more people who watch NBA basketball than watch WNBA basketball. Therefore, and there are more in-season ticket sales. Therefore, an NBA basketball player should be making more than a WNBA basketball player. That is a great parallel in order to contrive the conversation. We live in a state that we know we spend at least $675 million, plus maybe $950 million to $1 billion on jailing people. We're ranked number one within the country to do that.
In the world.
And that's within the state of Louisiana. And if we're in that state and we know for certain that a good portion of these single mothers are African-American women who may have daddies or the fathers may be incarcerated. Let's just look at that specifically as a possibility. Then we know that if jails are occupied and these individuals are not here in order to provide for their children, specifically their sons, we are going to need the same amount of money to go into Eileen and other single mothers' coffers in order to adequately provide for these children. If you are making 33 cents less then everyone else, that's 33 cents is taken away from bread, turkey meat, barbecue, whatever those things are that you need to provide for a family in order for that young person to be made whole. And so you should not have to have...
And don't have an infant where you have to pay diapers and, milk and, basic things like that.
Basic things like that. So I would say that for women and who are single mothers, and my mother, God rest her soul, who passed on last year, was a single mother of 3, and she had been married previously. But in between making the decision of divorce, which is the best decision for her, what I would say is that it is significantly important that you be able to at least, the woman is already dealing with the audacity of her to believe that she can raise children on her own, and y'all are doing that each and every day, but doing it at a differential rate, meaning you're not having the same amount of money necessary, and you may be making only so much money from the get-go. I think it's about time that we make a smart decision to improve the lives of all people, specifically the individuals who are single income earners, who are women, who must provide for the individuals that we need to raise in the future.
So, Telly, what can we do as a community? We talk about, opening our mind, actually, walking the walk. What can we do? Do we call our legislators? Do we write a letter? Do we send an email? What do we do as a community? If somebody's sitting at their desk right now.
I think you can do all 4 of those things. You can call your legislator's office and ask them to be in support of the bill.
Blow it up today.
A good portion of the legislators who are from Orleans Parish will be in support. You can also send an email. I think emails are important. Emails are probably more important than even phone calls because you'll be able to have physical proof that person can bring to bear and say, I know Eileen Carter is supporting this. I took her email that I printed and I was able to bring it. And you can forward. And the email might allow you to tell your story. My mother's story is that she was a single mother. She had 3 kids. My sister and brother were 10 years and 8.5 years older than me. And it was because of her faith and her hard work that she was able to, to get us by. I could also remember that I used to want my mama to come to my basketball games from when I played at Huntersville AAU in my senior year, and I just wasn't bothering her with it or tell her about the games because, one, we didn't have a car and we had to catch the bus everywhere, but secondly, because she was always working her regular job, plus she was sewing, doing her sewing stuff for Mardi Gras, and so she couldn't necessarily get those things done. But I just was so grateful to God that she did everything in her power in order for us to eat, and we would joke, hey, man, we had to eat chicken sometimes seven days a week, but at least we had something to eat, and it was prepared differently each and every day. And so, this is significant for me and for other people who know, even if you were raised, Eileen, fortunate enough, you were raised with a mother and a father together in the same household.
51 years
cousins,
this year.
Brothers, family, friends who are dealing each and every day with those situations. And hopefully there's family like yours who will reach out and help other people in the situation. So this is not an issue just for women. This is an issue for everybody. And specifically, this is an issue for the future of New Orleans. If we predicate and we say that we're going to build jails predicated upon what third graders are like so we can see what their actions are going to be to the future. What is actionable is that we should be putting less money into the criminal justice system and putting more money into education. And if we're smart enough to know, then we know that education is exactly a part of this process. If Eileen is making $1 and is making a fair wage, maybe she can buy a car in order to get Aiden around. Maybe she can buy the tennis shoes necessary in order for him to be better at basketball. Maybe she can have transportation in order to be able to get her kids to New Home Baptist Church in order for him to take his steps with Christ. Those are incremental things, but all of them fit to the whole. And this is why this legislation is so significant.
Absolutely. And I just want to, kind of give a visual. So, Telly, if, 67 cents on the dollar. So if you're making $10,000, I'm making $6,700?
Basically.
10, $6,700. We can be doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all visualize that? So if you're making, let's just say it's a $100,000 job. I'm making $67,000?
That is correct.
$67,000 and you're making $100,000?
And that isn't to say that it is everyone.
And y'all still have to take out taxes?
We know that within the state that there are real instances that we see on smaller scale jobs where a person may be making somewhere between $10 and $20 an hour, that this may be absolutely the case. And so what can you say? How can you justify it? After World War II, I can even say between World War II and Vietnam, where people were married, and we were using those instances where women had to go into the workforce because they had to provide for children while men were away at war. But in the country, and specifically in a state that has a divorce rate of 54%, it's clear that some people who are married are not staying married. And when we look at the population of so many single mothers, who are struggling to provide each and every day in order for that person to have the quality that they have, it is somewhat unconscionable. Now, I don't believe, and I'll leave with this tidbit in the caveat, that some of the individuals who are opposing this are against women. I genuinely don't believe that way, Eileen. I think that they just don't want to have to pay more money, and they can keep it within their company and their cost. Some of them may be against women, but that isn't truly what this conversation is about.
Sometimes you just got to force people to do the right thing. Right.
And we should not be emotional about it. We should be able to say is, oh, women deserve to make equal pay. That isn't our argument, Ali. What our argument is this entity makes $1, I should make $1, and because I make less, these are the result of some of the outcomes that can happen. When you have a stringent and straightforward commitment to your conversation in regard that this is about finances and it makes financial sense, then it is less of an emotional tag and pull in order for people to be focused on what the crux of the problem is and how we can fix it.
Absolutely. Tomorrow is Equal Pay Day at the Capitol. Tomorrow is Equal Pay Day at the Capitol. Please contact your legislatures. Please send them an email. Blow them up, y'all. I'm not even kidding. We have the opportunity to let our voices be heard. Do not let this opportunity pass. Thank you so much, Shelly, for everything that you do. And I know we talked about a lot of heavy stuff this morning, so we're about to, lighten it up. We're going to redefine exactly what the good life is. I have a lot of, feel-good stories. If you have a feel-good story, give us a call at 504-260-9265. Somebody in the community that's doing something. Somebody that's making a difference. This is the good life. We are going to open people's minds to living differently in the world. Your thoughts become things. We're going to change our frame of mind. We're going to continue the rest of the day. We talked about it, but we're going to leave it right there, and we're going to move forward. We're going to have a great Monday. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Greetings, loyal listeners. I get a lot of callers seeking relationship advice. My advice? Go to AT&T. For a limited time when you buy one of their most popular smartphones, you get one free when you buy both on AT&T Next. Healthy relationships come from having things in common. Matching smartphones is a great start. AT&T, mobilizing your world.
For BOGO, buy select devices at regular price with eligible service and well-qualified credit. Free one requires new line with 30-month 0% APR contract with up to $21.67 a month payments. Get up to $650 in 30-bill credit starting in 3 bills. Tax due at sale of service canceled on one that device balance due. Charges and restrictions apply. See store for details.
This is Jonathan Wilson, president of 100 Black Men of New Orleans. 100 Black Men is an organization dedicated to the development of our youth with the objective of making them self-reliant, independent thinkers committed to excellence. We mentor young men and women to be productive citizens. 100 Black Men supports health and wellness initiatives and promotes economic empowerment for our people. We call for the unification of public schools as a first step in ensuring quality education for our children. We urge you to join with us to make sure that New Orleanians control the destiny of our youth and that policies are created to ensure transparency, equity, and accountability for all. A true story of resilience should conclude with a single high-performing school district governed by local citizens. Contact the 100 Black Men at 208-9337 to join our efforts. Thank you.
Hey, it's Chuck Perkins of the Conscious Hour on WBOK 1230 AM, here to tell you about mobile banking at Liberty Bank and Trust Company. You're always on the move, and they're here to keep up and give you the power to manage your own money from the palm of your hand. If you need to check balances, transfer money, or make a few transactions, mobile banking at Liberty Bank allows convenient and secure access to your money. Enroll today at www.libertybank.net and download their mobile app. Mobile Bank at Liberty Bank today, and keep the power in your your hands. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here. FDIC and equal housing lender.
This is Attorney Hester Hilliard with the Hilliard Law Firm. Is your home in foreclosure? Are your bills piled so high that you can hardly see your way through? Does your family or friend have a pending criminal charge and they need a lawyer they can trust? And what about your property? Who will receive your assets or take care of your children in the event of your death? If you have concerns, we have answers. The Hilliard Law Firm offers professional legal representation, and we're here to help you, whether you need assistance with bankruptcy, foreclosure defense, criminal defense, wills or estate planning, successions, child support, or child custody. Call the Hilliard Law Firm at 504-729-6133 or visit our website at www.hilliardlaw.com. Don't wait or procrastinate. Your help is only a phone call away. So call us today, 504-729-6133.
L&R Security keeps our family, friends, and event goers safe. And to do that job, they are looking for you. L&R Security Services is now hiring persons for the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, armed and unarmed guards. All interested persons should contact L&R Security Office at 504-943-3191. Fill out an application at L&R's office at 3930 Old Gentilly Road. That's New Orleans, Louisiana. To become one of the proud workers of L&R Security, the minimum requirements are 18 years of age, a completed work application, and criminal background check, 2 forms of ID, whether it be a driver's license, a state ID, military ID, social security card, or other forms of picture ID. L&R Security is looking for qualified employees to assist in keeping the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival safe. They are looking for you. Again, contact them at 504-943-3191. 504-943-3191. L&R is always looking for armed and unarmed guards. If this is your profession, they're looking for you.
Are you satisfied with your current financial position? My name is Kenneth Barnes, President and CEO of KB Enterprises, where we specialize in putting together step-by-step financial action steps for your plan for today and for tomorrow. Whether you're 50 to 85 and need assistance with your final expenses, we have coverage options for every situation. Let us put life back into your finances. Call us today at 504-914-1202. That's 504-914-1202.
Gentili Italian Pie is home to the $5 Family Happy Hour. Specials on pizza, wings, and drinks Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Gentili Italian Pie does fresh for the entire family. Salads, pizza, pasta, wings, and oven-baked sandwiches. Gentili Italian Pie offers lunch and dinner in a new, modern atmosphere surrounded by big screen TVs. Dine in or carry out by calling 504-826-9180. That's 504-826-9180. Relax. Have a drink from the fully stocked bar or beer on tap while your order is made from the freshest ingredients. Gentili Italian Pie, 4706 Paris Avenue, is home where everybody knows your name. So bring the family to Paris and Marabou for the $5 Family Happy Hour, Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's Gentili Italian Pie. Dine in or carry out. 504-826-9180. That's 504-826-9180. You gotta try the pie. That's the original Italian pie, located at Paris and Marabou in Gentilly.
WBOK New Orleans, your community station.
Welcome back to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Money Monday, and we're here to open your mind.
Good life. In a different land.
The Good Life radio show is brought to you by Morris Reed Jr. If you have been hit in a car accident or charged with a crime, call MorrisReedJr.net at 504-488-HELP, 504-488-4357, or you can find them online at morrisreedjr.net. That's morrisreedjr.net. The Morris Reed Jr. Law Firm is a full-service law firm that fights vigorously to get you the money you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or you have been charged with a crime, Morris Reed Jr., call him today. I'm not kidding. 504-488-4357, or you can find them online at morrisreedjr.net. That's morrisreedjr.net, because that is the good life. And speaking of the good life, you know, I'm kind of opening my mind to living differently in the world, and we're going to do a little bit, some fun programming. So I want y'all to make sure you stay tuned for the entire week. We're going to be doing some fun things. I need you to stay tuned to open your mind, because we're going to be doing things a little differently. And because we're going to be doing things a little differently, I wanted to make Money Monday a little different. We've had so many things happen this past weekend. So I wanted to open your mind to some positive things. You know, let's start Monday on a different note. You know, let's put it behind us. Let's open our mind. And so from now on, from Fridays, we're going to be focusing on a person like we did this past Friday with Judge Morris Reed, you know, kind of finding out the backstory. How did people get to where they are? You know, what is their passion? What does the good life look like for them? So if you know somebody who has a story, please send their information to the Good Life Radio Show. You can contact us on all of our social media sites. That's the Good Life Radio Show on Facebook. That's at TGL Radio Show on Instagram. Just slide in the DM. Give us the story about the person. We'll make sure that we call you back. You know, follow us on Twitter. Send us a direct message there at TGL Radio Show. Or you can give us a call at 504-400-7127. That's 504-400-7127, and that number is on all of our social media sites as well, because sometimes we don't hear enough about the good stories. We hear about all the bad stories. We hear about everything that goes wrong in the world. We hear about everything negative, especially about our young black men. So here is a good story, and a financial story at that, so I tried to tie it in a little bit to Money Monday. His name is Kawhi Leonard, and if you don't know him, by the end of this positive story, you will know something about him. He is a player in the NBA, and he has a $94 million contract. But guess what, y'all? He lives in a 2-bedroom home and drives a 97 Chevy Tahoe. So let me give you a little bit of the background. You know, in the age of Stephen Curry, many people forget about players like Leonard, even if they do command a $94 million contract. Per the March 2016 Sports Illustrated, he was named Finals MVP in 2014. He captured Defensive Player of the Year in 2015, and this season sees the unofficial title of the best two-way player in the NBA. If you don't follow the Spurs, you may not be familiar with Kawhi Leonard, but guess what? He doesn't mind at all. It's not his false humility. He simply doesn't go for the glitz and the glamour, and he doesn't feel the need to hog the spotlight. He just wants to play ball. So in an interview with Sports Illustrated, Leonard explained, I don't like to bring attention to myself. I don't like to make a scene. I could be on the court for 2 hours and it felt like 10 minutes. He's like, it made time go by. And don't think he plays ball because he can't do anything else, though. Leonard loves math, and he spent 2 years at San Diego State University before he was selected as the 15th overall pick in the 2011 NBA draft. And how have all those math skills paid off? The Root notes that he spends his summers in a 2-bedroom apartment in San Diego and drives a rehab 97 Chevy Tahoe, nicknamed the Gas Guzzler. He said, why? He told SI, because it's runs and it's paid off. He said while others are buying mansions, collecting luxury cars, and dropping I.E. Benjamins in the casino while bathing in Cristal, Leonard enjoys his modest lifestyle and prefers his unlimited supply of wings from his Wingstop shop sponsor. And he isn't too proud to use his free coupons, even if he's pulling in over $20 million a year. $20 million a year. So what can we learn from this story on Money Monday? This man is sitting on all of this money. He's not, shining. He's doing what he needs to do. He's taking care of his business. What can we learn from this? How can we open our mind to living differently in the world? How many times do we live beyond our means? I know I've done it, and I've had to check myself because I'm like, what is really important? I need to open my mind to living differently in the world. I need to save. I need to live under my means so that I can live the good life, so that we can create generational wealth, because that's what it's all about. And so I want to kind of go into, these really heartwarming stories. So I have another one for you. There was, and this is from, kindnessuplivingforever.com. One Georgia woman's good deed during Christmas 2015 led to an even greater deed benefiting cancer patients. What have you done for someone else today? All the woman, Tracy Marshall, did was pay for a man's groceries. She said when she noticed a gentleman had forgotten his wallet, she said, I paid for his groceries. She said it was just fruit. It didn't cost me more than $8. And she actually put this story on Facebook. After she paid for the groceries, she told the man her first name, and she said Merry Christmas, and she left the store. As the story goes, after the incident, the man tracked down Warshall, who had been wearing a shirt with the Piedmont Healthcare logo on it. He found out that she worked at the Piedmont Care Institute, and so he decided to donate $10,000 to the organization in her name. Warshall learned about the gift when representatives from the Cancer Institute fundraising arm contacted her. The man who wished to remain anonymous had donated to the Cancer Institute in the past, but this time he wanted to make sure that he did it in her name. Warshall told ABC News that paying for the groceries was instinctual. She said on Facebook that she hoped the man would pay it forward, but not in the way that he did. Warshall added that she hopes that what has happened reminds others that the little things are what matters the most. She goes on to say clearly she's happy and that one act of kindness turned into something so much greater. She says, I'm just excited that one small little gesture made a huge difference and impact on a lot of people. She says, I hope it makes people think twice about doing something small for someone else. So what have you done for someone else, and how do we pay it forward? None of us can do it by ourselves. We've always had someone that had to give us a hand up. It might have been in elementary school where you were, you stuck and you didn't understand. You had that one teacher who didn't give up on you. It could have been in high school if you were an athlete. You had that coach who didn't give up on you. You could have been in line and somebody, paid your $1.25 that you were short. How are we paying it forward? Kindness, y'all, one act of kindness. We talk about, little things, opening the door for somebody just smiling at somebody. A family member, is having a rough month and they have kids. We're being paid 67 cents on the dollar for women, so we already know somebody out there needs help. What are we doing to help somebody else? Yesterday at church, and I really wasn't going to tell this story, but I think I'm being moved to, because that moment when you're like, I'm doing a good job raising my child. Well, I had that moment yesterday, so I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. Well, it's really for him. So we're at church yesterday, and New Home Family Ministries had fed about 2,000 families about a week and a half ago. And so they had food that was left over. So at the end of church, they said, anyone who knows somebody who may need food, please come at the end of church to the back of the gym and get some food and make sure that you share it, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, heard the story. I was going to go about my business. Aiden looked at me and he was like, let's go get some food. And I was like, Aiden, I don't really know anybody who's in that much need. And he was like, we pass people every day on the street. Let's give them some food. So I was like, really? And he just looked at me. I was like, are you being, and I just knew that it was coming from a different source. So he was adamant about it, that we were going to get food and we were going to pass out food. So I was like, okay, Aiden. So we get back there, and by the time we got back there, it was two ladies in church who needed, because the groceries were a little bit heavy, who needed help bringing the groceries to their car. So Aiden helped one lady, and so I was going to stand in line, and then someone else needed help. So then I left the line to go help the other lady and bring their groceries to the car. So by the time we got back, it was really kind of at the end of the giving. So we ended up getting some salsa and one other item. And I was like, how are we going to give out? So it was salsa and salad dressing. So I was like, how are we going to give it? Right. I was like, how am I going to give that out? If it were a neighbor or something, we're going to do that with the salad dressing. But I was like, what are we going to do? And Aiden's like, well, we can go buy chips from the store and they can have salsa and chips because that's like his favorite snack. So I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, let's go to the store right now. So we went to the store and we bought enough bags of chips to accommodate all of the jars of salsa. And what we did is we drove around the city and we handed out salsa and chips. Like, do you want a snack? And you should have seen the looks on their face. So many of them were like, God bless you. And I was like, no, God bless you. This is just a small token of what we can do. But this came from a 12-year-old, and he changed people's lives yesterday. So what can we do today as a small gesture to open their mind to living differently in the world. And after we were done, he was just like, Mom, I feel so good. He was just like, I'm just so happy I did that. He just felt full. And I'm learning a lesson from my 12-year-old. So what can we do today to change someone else's life? There are so many people out there who, don't have certain basic needs being met. What can we do? So we're going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we're going to have more of these stories, because there's a man who put together a bus, and he is changing the lives of his homeless community. I'm going to tell you what he did when we come right back. This is a Good Life Money Monday, y'all. Open your mind to living differently in the world. We are redefining exactly what the good life is. It's nice to have the fancy things, and it's nice to be, extravagant and luxurious. It's cool, but what are you doing for your neighbor? That's the real good life. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Brother Willie Muhammad. Join us Mondays from 3 to 4 p.m. for Class in Session, where we will discuss issues that are important to the black community and solutions on WBOK 1230 a.m., where it is real talk for real times.
L&R Security keeps our family, friends, and event goers safe. And to do that job, they are looking for you. L&R Security Services is now hiring persons for the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, armed and unarmed guards. All interested persons should contact L&R Security Office at 504-943-3191. Fill out an application at L&R's office at 3930 Old Gentilly Road. That's New Orleans, Louisiana. To become one of the proud workers of L&R Security, the minimum requirements are 18 years of age, a completed work application, and criminal background check, 2 forms of ID, whether it be a driver's license, a state ID, military ID, social security card, or other forms of picture ID. L&R Security is looking for qualified employees to assist in keeping the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival safe. They are looking for you. Again, contact them at 504-943-3191. 504-943-3191. L&R is always looking for armed and unarmed guards. If this is your profession, they're looking for you.
You might think it's just another day, but at Metro Disposal, this is our day. For more than 25 years, Metro Disposal has been a vital resource for waste management in our community. With state-of-the-art equipment and technology, we are committed to providing a cleaner, safer, healthier environment. This is our community. This is Metro Disposal.
Gentilly Italian Pies, home to the $5 Family Happy Hour. Specials on pizza, wings, and drinks, Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Gentilly Italian Pie does fresh for the entire family. Salads, pizza, pasta, wings, and oven-baked sandwiches. Gentilly Italian Pie offers lunch and dinner in a new, modern atmosphere surrounded by big screen TVs. Dine in or carry out by calling 504-826-9180. That's 504-826-9180. Relax. Have a drink from the fully stocked bar or beer on tap while your order is made from the freshest ingredients. Gentilly Italian Pie, 4706 Paris Avenue, is home where everybody knows your name. So bring the family to Paris and Marabou for the $5 Family Happy Hour, Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's Gentilly Italian Pie. Dine in or carry out. 504-826-9180. That's 504-826-9180. You gotta try the pie. That's the original Italian pie, located at Paris and Marabou in Gentilly.
Frederick Douglass wrote, "It is easier to raise healthy children than to fix broken men." This is why Lil Dizzy's Cafe chooses to salute the 120 men of the Silverback Society for investing in themselves and leading the next generation of boys to a more respected, capable, and responsible manhood. Currently working with over 500 boys in 17 elementary schools in New Orleans, plus one in Biloxi, the Silverback Society's mission is to make sure every boy gets to learn the principles, methods, and pride of real manhood before entering high school. Founded in 2007 by Arthur Wadsworth and Lloyd Dennis, the Silverback Society has men from all walks of life, walking the walk, saturating our community with boys who are trained to think about and prepare for tomorrow. Lil Dizzy's Cafe is proud to acknowledge the leadership of these regular men who are doing extraordinary things. Together, this celebrated moment brought to you by Lil Dizzy's Cafe.
Are you looking for a better way to get fit? Bored with the same old routines? Looking for results or a way to instill discipline in the kids? Tiger Rock Martial Arts is the answer with Taekwondo, kickboxing, and self-defense classes. Tiger Rock diversifies your training in ways that allows individuals of all ages and fitness levels to feel like a champion. Join Tiger Rock today. TigerRockNola.com or 504-455-9694. That's 504-455-9694 with a 3-class starter pack starting for only $38, which includes your training uniform. Learn, grow, and succeed with Tiger Rock's 3 convenient locations: Old Metairie, West Bank, and Clearview. There's no better time to start gaining strength, skills, and protection for life than now. 504-455-9694. 504-455-9694. See you on the mat.
WBOK New Orleans, your community station.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Money Monday, and we are redefining, I should say, exactly what the good life is all about. There's so many times where we hear these stories and we listen to all this negativity in the news, and sometimes we just have to pivot. We have to open our mind to living differently in the world, and we need some positivity. And that's what we're delivering today on The Good Life. You know, and I want you all to be living the good life on April 21st. That is Thursday, April 21st, because we will be at the Hyatt Regency. The New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce will be there with their 2016 annual meeting. They will have 2 keynote speakers. It will be Senator Karen Carter Peterson and State Representative Walt Leger. There's so much going on in it with our budget that we really need to open our minds and listen to what's going on and see how it affects our communities. So make sure that you are at the 2016 annual luncheon for the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. You can get your tickets. You can register at norbchamber.org. That's norbchamber.org, because that is the good life. And speaking of redefining the good life, that's exactly what we're doing, and that's exactly what this gentleman has done. It's called Shower to the People. I found this article on goodnewsnetwork.org. They kind of stole my name, y'all, but it's all right. He says it's a box truck, and he delivers hot showers to the city's homeless. So how much does it cost to make homeless people feel like $1 million? Just $5,000 and a lot of hard work by one Missouri pastor. His name is Jake Austin. He bought a used box truck and converted it into a mobile shower for the homeless. He said clean people are happier, healthier, and more hopeful. He said when you step out of the shower, you feel like $1 million. Y'all know how y'all feel after you take a hot shower. Imagine not having that option. Some of us can't imagine having that option. Some of us shower 2 and 3 times a day. You take it for granted that you shower. But imagine if you don't have that option and you're living on the street. So Pastor Austin has worked with the homeless almost his entire life. His parents ran a soup kitchen when he was growing up. But the importance of showers for the homeless was made clear to him only just a year ago. He said he was handing out hygiene supplies to the homeless, and a man thanked him for a bar of soap. He then asked him where he could use it, which was a natural question. He said Austin then realized that even with food and clean clothes, a person who hadn't bathed in months couldn't ever even land a job. So he created Shower to the People. It's a nonprofit to provide hot showers to people living on the streets of St. Louis. The group's logo harkens back to the 60s, but with a twist. A fist is thrust into the air, clutching a bar of soap. So Austin found a used truck and began outfitting its interior with shower stalls, sinks, and privacy curtains for dressing. An additional row of sinks outside will let more people wash their faces and brush their teeth. A local pipe fitter union installed the truck's plumbing. A linen service has now volunteered to launder the towels, and an RV center donated the finished workings. So when it rolls out, which it has rolled out now, it will connect to the fire hydrants across the city and use a generator to run on electricity so the water can be hot during the colder season and especially just to have a hot shower. So Austin plans to send the truck to different locations around St. Louis each day. He figures parking it in one spot for about 8 hours would allow about 60 people to shower every day. There are not many nonprofits out there providing showers to the homeless. You know, California is retrofitting old city buses for the job, and a Florida man has built a mobile shower unit in a trailer for the homeless. If we can get people regularly clean so we can give them some sort of hope, he said, getting hope in their bones is what can take them to the next step so they can keep climbing. Y'all, we are redefining what the good life is today. This Pastor Jake Austin of St. Louis is redefining what the good life is. Do you know someone who is redefining what the good life is? If you do, please make sure that you reach out to me. You can give us a call at 504-400-7127. I want to interview them. I want to know their story. We want to put their information out there because this is how one act of kindness leads to other act of kindness. You know, maybe there's somebody out there that has an old box truck. Maybe there's somebody out there that has an old bus. Maybe there's, you know, the pipe fitters union. There's, you know, a laundry service and things like that can all get together and can make something like this happen, that can, you know, volunteer or, you know, give it to a church and make sure that, you know, this process moves forward. What if you were homeless? Think about how you shower every day. Those are some basic necessities that people don't have. Think about how grateful you are, number one, for opening your eyes this morning. We want to open your mind to living differently in the world, and we want to redefine exactly what the good life is. And that's what this week is all about. So we've had enough negativity. I want to open your mind. So we are focusing on stories of people who are doing just that. You know, they didn't wait for everybody else. They decided to take the initiative themselves. And they didn't see the whole staircase like Martin Luther King Jr. said. They just took the first step, and then it started to steamroll into something great. So what are you doing to open people's minds to living differently in the world? Where there is a female chief in Malawi, and she has broken up 850 child marriages and sent the girls back to school. Did you hear me? 850 child marriages. Teresa, I cannot pronounce her last name, so I'm going to leave it right there. Let's just say she's the senior chief in the Desdra district of central Malawi. She wields power over close to 900,000 people. And guess what, y'all? She is not afraid to use her authority to help the women and the girls in her district. In the past 3 years, she has annulled more than 850 child marriages. She sent hundreds of young women back to school to continue their education and made strides to abolish cleansing rituals that require girls as young as 7. Do y'all hear me? 7 years old to go to sexual initiation camps. Did y'all hear me? Sexual initiation camps. Children that are 7 years old. She said more than half of Malawi's girls are married before the age of 18. And that's according to a 2012 United Nations survey. And at a consistently low ranking on the Human Development Index. Well, her no-nonsense attitude and effective measures have made her a vital ally in the fight for women's and children's rights. She was born in the Desdra district and had been working as a secretary for 27 years in another district when she was called to come home to serve as the chief. Upon her return, she was dismayed at the sight of 12-year-old girls with babies and young husbands and quickly began to take action. She said last year Malawi raised the legal age to marry to 18, yet parental consent continues to serve as a loophole to allow younger girls to marry. Well, this chief ordered 50 of her sub-chiefs to sign an agreement ending child marriage in the Desda district. With a few male chiefs continue to approve the marriages, she then suspended them until they annulled the union. She wasn't playing, y'all. So in addition to annulling the marriages, and like 330 of them in June 2015 alone, this fierce chief sent the children back to school as well, often paying their school fees with her own money. She has also asked Parliament to raise the minimum age to marry again to 21 years old. So this is a female chief in Malawi. what she has done all by herself, this woman, Teresa, she is the chief in Malawi. Think about what she's done as one person. What can you do as one person? She has saved 850 young girls from being subjected to young marriages. And I don't know if y'all were paying attention, but these young girls were also, had to go to sexual initiation camps as young as age 7. Open your mind to living differently in the world. Think outside the box. What are you doing to help your neighbor? There's so much going on in the world. We are redefining exactly what the good life is all about. So I need you to help me do that. On Fridays, we're going to focus on people that are delivering the good life in our communities, people who are spearheading things, people who are in our neighborhoods, taking care of the kids on the corner, people, in politics, people everywhere, every inch of our society. I want to know who they are. So make sure you reach out. You can put their story on our Facebook page, The Good Life Radio Show. Sometimes we need to hear a positive story. And actually, all of these stories are on our Facebook page at The Good Life Radio Show. So make sure you like it. Make sure you follow us, because we deliver these good life, feel good stories, because sometimes there's just too much negativity in the world and you need to open your mind. So speaking of opening your mind, last but not least, I got this from the HuffingtonPost.com. There is a place in India where religions coexist beautifully and gender equality is unmatched. So I saved this for last because we have equal pay tomorrow. So sometimes I just got to open your mind. You have to have a new perspective of how things may work. So this was on the Huffington Post about 4 days ago. And if you want the whole story, because I know y'all want to share this story, make sure you go to our Facebook page, The Good Life Radio Show, and share. This is happening in Kochi, India. Back in the summer of 2015, the heart of Hindu man was transported across Kerala for a Christian patient in dire need of a new one. Funds were raised by a Muslim businessman to pay for the operation and performed by the state's top heart surgeon, a Christian. The entire state became engrossed as the story unfolded. The Indian Navy helicopter and an ambulance both dispatched Kerala's chief minister, Candy, who sped the heart to Kochi. So you're hearing that story, but did you hear about all the religions involved? There was Hindus, there was Christians, there was Muslims, and they all got together to make sure that this one person got a heart. That doesn't even sound right. If you had to take those 3 religions and put them anywhere else in the world, they probably wouldn't coexist very well together. So that's why we need to hear this story. Kerala is known by the motto, God's own country. But some may think the moniker is presumptive because anyone who has seen its forests, its backwaters, its beaches, and its bounty for agricultural produce and spices will know it is well deserved. Over centuries, people from many different communities and cultures traveled through and lived in Kerala. Jewish and Christian migrants, Arab merchants, European traders, and colonizers. The city of Kochi has India's oldest active synagogue and the oldest European church, both from the 16th century. So if anybody is out there who is stuck in their religion, this is one of those stories that open your mind to living differently in the world and how we can actually coexist. God's own country, that's what they call it, deserves a new and highly relevant interpretation. Kerala is a symbol of religious coexistence, not simply tolerance. In a world that is struggling with new strains of virulent intolerance and violence, the United States, our backyard, the state has a unique mix of 3 of the world's largest religions, roughly 30% Muslims, 20% Christians, and 50% Hindus. This split is unique in India. Not many other places have such significant populations of both Christians and Muslims living with a not too large majority of Hindus, and perhaps unique globally. How does this happen? They say given this mix, the rarity of communal violence is striking. A few small-scale incidents are exceptions to a norm of stability and coexistence. What can we learn from this? The various religions have evolved to integrate and include their neighboring faiths. For example, the Hindu temple, they have a Hindu temple that is a shrine dedicated to a popular 19th century Muslim, i.e. Robin Hood. So the Keralaites believe themselves to be first and foremost Indian Malays. So they see themselves as a community before they see themselves as a religion. So some say this tolerance is no surprise given the long histories of both Christians and Muslims in Kerala. But one need only look at Eastern Europe or the Middle East, where long-standing bonds within a once diverse community were ruptured within a single generation. So one might explain this peaceful and secular coexistence. How do you do that? Well, there are many possible reasons, but one striking thing about their country that may offer an explanation is the near universal provision of not just basic needs, but also public and social services. Did y'all hear that? Their literacy rate is 94%. It is in the same range as much as the richer areas like the Gulf, China, and Europe. The state's infant mortality rate is 12 per 1,000 births, compared to 40 per 1,000 births as India as a whole. Kalara's toilet coverage is almost universal, 97%. Y'all, basic needs are met. And earlier this year, Kalara became the first state in India to achieve 100% primary education. Are y'all hearing this story? Everybody's basic needs are being met, and so everybody's able to coexist. It should be noted that Kalara is a level of gender parity unmatched by any other state in India, and in fact, most places around the world. Kalara is one of only 2 Indian states where women outnumber men. All other Indian states have more men, sometimes significantly so. So while India as a whole has significantly lower female literacy than male literacy, Kalara's rates are roughly equal. So what have you learned from this? We've learned that we can coexist when people's basic needs are being met. Open your mind to living differently in the world. We have equal pay tomorrow. We're putting that on the table. Our basic needs need to be met. We want to redefine exactly what the good life is, y'all. We were reading some positive stories today to change the conversation. Open your mind. What can you do to somebody else? What can you change? Be the change you want to see in the world. This is the good life, y'all. I'm out.